The rancher had seen a lot of strange things on the trail, but a trembling white puppy sitting dead center in the dusty road, its leash dragging behind it and its ears flat with fear, wasn't something he could ride past. His horse came to a stop on its own, hooves kicking up a soft cloud of dust. The puppy didn't move. It didn't bark. It just sat there, staring up with wide, almost human eyes, as if it had something to say. The man swung down from the saddle, boots thudding on the hard-packed earth, and crouched slowly. "Where'd you come from, little fella?" he murmured, reaching out a hand. The moment his fingers brushed the pup's fur, a whisper carried on the wind. "Hi, shaking, close, please don't take our puppy, sir." The rancher's head snapped to the left. Two small figures stood half-hidden behind a broken water trough. A girl, maybe 8, her hair in wild knots, wore a faded dress too short for her knees. A younger boy stood barefoot behind her, clutching the back of her skirt like a shadow. We're being good," the girl said, her voice steadier now. "We promise. We can't let go of him yet." The puppy had already turned and trotted confidently back toward them. The man didn't speak, just studied the scene. Children alone, frightened, but not wild. They weren't runaways. They were waiting. "Where's your mama?" he asked gently, taking a step closer. The girl's bottom lip trembled. The boy turned his face away. "She's still inside," the girl whispered. The rancher looked toward the rundown shack just off the trail. It sagged at one end, as if it had taken a beating. No light in the windows, no smoke from the chimney. The front door hung crooked, slightly ajar. "Is she hurt?" he asked, already moving toward it. "Please don't go in, sir," the boy said suddenly. The girl turned and pressed her palm over his mouth. "Shush, he's trying to help." The man's boots crunched over gravel and dry leaves as he neared the porch. Something in the air changed. Stillness. "Wait." He pushed the door open with his fingertips. The hinges whined. He stepped halfway inside, then stopped cold. Whatever breath he had left caught in his throat. His hand dropped instinctively to the pistol at his side, not to draw, but to anchor himself. Because lying on the floor, curled up in a nest of blankets, was a woman. Skin pale, lips cracked, hair matted with sweat. One arm protectively curled around a bundle. Her eyes were open. She was looking at him. Laid across her legs was a blood-soaked cloth. The rancher's voice, when it finally came, was hoarse. "How long's she been like this?" The girl's answer floated in behind him. "Since last night, when the other man left." He turned to look at the children. They hadn't moved. The boy was holding the puppy again, whispering into its fur. The girl stood straight, proud, somehow, like she was guarding a queen. "What's her name?" he asked. "Delaney," the girl said. "But we just call her Mama." The rancher stood frozen in the doorway, wind curling around him like a whisper from fate. He didn't know yet what to do. But he knew he wasn't leaving. Not now, not with what he'd seen. Sunrise. By sunrise, the rancher had done what he could. He carried Delaney, feverish and barely breathing, to the only bed in the shack. He cleaned the blood from her legs with water warmed over a weak fire and used strips of flour sack as bandages. The baby girl, swaddled in her arms, hadn't cried once. She just stared, with eyes too old for her few hours of life. He didn't ask questions, not yet. Questions could come later, after heat, after water, after stillness. The children hadn't slept. The girl, Nell, sat beside her mother with a wet cloth, watching every movement like it might be the last. The boy, Wade, kept one hand on the puppy, the other clenched over his chest. "He didn't mean to hurt her," Wade whispered at one point, his voice so soft it nearly vanished. The rancher didn't ask who he was. He had a guess. By the time Delaney stirred, the sun was pushing gold through the cracks in the walls. Her lips parted. "Where?" "You're safe," the rancher said. He didn't offer his name. Didn't feel like it was his place yet. She blinked slowly. "The children?" "Right here." Nell leaned over, pressing the cloth to her mother's temple. "Mama, we stayed. We didn't run." Delaney's eyes filled. Her hand moved like it wanted to reach for them, but her body couldn't follow. The rancher stepped outside. The sun was up now, burning frost off the grass. He needed air. He walked the perimeter of the cabin, past an old washtub full of weeds, a rusted shovel, a pile of burned wood beside a collapsed lean-to. That's when he saw it. A thin parcel, water-stained, half buried beneath a loose floorboard on the porch. He pulled it free. A folded wool blanket, finer than anything in the house, and wrapped inside, a letter. No name, no seal, just 4 words scrawled in hurried script. If I don't return. She looked up. A black carriage with gold trim rolled up the dusty ranch path, dust trailing like a shadow of judgment. Behind the reins, cold and stiff as ever, sat Temperance, but she wasn't alone. A tall, grim-faced man in a brown coat and spectacles stepped down beside her. The rancher came to Delaney's side before she could even call. That's a judge, he muttered. Circuit man, can't believe she pulled one all the way out here. Delaney whispered, I can. She's rich, she's desperate. Temperance didn't waste a second. Mr. Judge, there she is, the girl I spoke of, the one unlawfully in possession of property and minors not hers by law or blood. Delaney stepped forward, heart pounding. I have the will. We'll see it, the judge replied calmly, already pulling a stack of papers from his briefcase. I'll see both your claims. Miss Wright, present your evidence. Delaney handed over the documents. The judge read silently for a long while. The children stood clustered behind her, peeking from behind the porch rail. He finally muttered, the will is valid, witnessed and notarized. Mr. Everett clearly intended the ranch to pass to Miss Delaney Wright, whom he referred to as caretaker and guardian. Temperance cut in, sharp and practiced, but there's no blood connection, no formal adoption of the children. The will is hearsay at best when it comes to custody. I also have letters, Delaney said. She reached into the satchel and pulled out Everett's handwritten pages, birth keepsakes, tokens. These are more than words, they're proof of intent, proof of memory, of bond. The judge took the letters, brows furrowed. The rancher watched every move, silent, but deadly still. Temperance hissed, I'll bring doctors, witnesses, show how underfed they were. I can buy better testimony. Ma'am, the judge warned, you'll let me do my job. He read one letter aloud, slowly. To Delaney, should you ever have to fight for them, I hope this reminds someone what kind of mother you are. You may not have carried them, but you carried their pain. The children went silent, even Nora clung to Delaney's skirt, wide-eyed. Let's hear from them, the judge said finally, one at a time. Delaney crouched and kissed Wade's temple. Just tell the truth, baby. Wade walked up to the judge, dirt still on his cheek. We want her, not her. He pointed at Temperance. She don't even know our birthdays. The judge's brow lifted. And you? Miss Nora stepped up, whispering. Delaney sings to me when my legs hurt. She makes the porridge right. And the others? The other two nodded fast, hiding behind each other. She loves us like it's easy, the smallest boy said. That was the moment the judge looked up and saw it, not law, but truth. This isn't about blood, he said, it's about bond. Temperance stepped forward with a pouch of coins. Whatever price she wants, double it. The rancher stepped in, voice like thunder, no one's buying these kids. Delaney's eyes burned, or me. The judge straightened, then this hearing is over. The ranch stands in her name. The children stay under her care, pending full guardianship, which I will support in court. Temperance's face collapsed. You'll regret this, she spat. No, Delaney said quietly. I regret ever letting you near them. The carriage left in silence. The judge tipped his hat and left a card. And as the sun dropped low, Delaney picked up Wade and said, we're safe now, baby. But in her heart, she knew it wasn't over, not until the court papers were signed. Still, they had something now they didn't before, a win, a chance, a name, a home, a chance. Delaney woke to a sound she couldn't name. Not an owl, not wind, but the subtle snap of wood, like someone had stepped wrong on the porch. She sat up in the dark, heart already racing. The children were safe in their bunks. The rancher was asleep just across the hall. She slipped on her boots, pulled Everett's satchel from beneath the bed, and checked inside. The letters, the will, the deed. Still there. But unease crawled up her spine like a cold wind. She crept to the window and lifted the curtain just an inch. A horse, black and restless, stood tied near the fence. Its rider was gone. She didn't breathe. Then the door creaked, just barely. Delaney turned fast and ran to the hallway. "Get up," she hissed into the rancher's room. He was already moving. In seconds, he had his rifle, and they were both at the front door. It stood open. Not wide, just ajar. Enough for someone to have slipped in, or out. "Check the papers," he said. She raced back. The satchel was empty. "No," she gasped. "No, no, no. The will, the deed, Everett's letters, all gone. The only proof she had, the only thing standing between them and whatever claim Temperance might still press." She sank to the floor, clutching the satchel like it could still hold weight. "They were just here, I checked." "They're not now." The rancher crouched, jaw tight. "She sent someone, or came herself. We'll ride at first light." But morning didn't wait to bring more bad news. A boy from town galloped up the path, waving a paper. "It's posted on the courthouse door," he said. "Widow Temperance filed an injunction. Says you forged the will and unlawfully took the ranch." Delaney couldn't speak. The children stood in the doorway, sleepy, barefoot, watching the grown-ups fall apart. "She's trying to erase him," Delaney said at last. "Everett, his words, his choices. She's making it like they never happened." The rancher took her hands. "Then we'll make him heard again, even without the papers." "How?" she whispered. "I don't even know what court she bribed, what judge she's paying." "We'll go higher," Delaney added bitterly. "She has gold, we have goats." But she stood, and that counted for something. That evening, as the rancher prepared the horses, Delaney gathered the children and told them the truth. The papers were gone, the fight would get harder, and she might lose. Nora asked quietly, "But we'll stay with you, right?" Delaney knelt. "I'll try, with everything in me, I'll try." "You're still our mama," Wade said, putting his small hand in hers, "even if the paper's gone." That night, she didn't sleep. Instead, she rewrote everything she could remember from Everett's letters, word for word, by lantern light. She dug up every old photograph, every childhood drawing, every scrap of memory the children had made in their time with him. "If she wants to erase him," she whispered, "then we'll write him back into the world." When dawn broke, Delaney and the rancher rode out toward the next county. Not toward safety. Not toward certainty. But toward truth. And sometimes, that had to be enough, especially when it was all you had left.
If this tale moved you, if you felt the tension, the heartbreak, and the triumph, please support our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring more thrilling, emotional, and inspiring stories your way. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think. Do you believe dogs have an extraordinary sixth sense? Share your thoughts and personal stories with us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.